Alright, I'm sorry to keep talking about New South Wales state politics, but it is currently so interesting that it even beats our state license plate slogan.
The first state.
That's very true.
It's just a really good feeling knowing that Mike Baird is finally hated for something. Even if that linchpin wasn't the Native Vegetation Act Baird scrapping that will lead to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of native animals, or the systematic poisoning of our prime agricultural land through the approval of thousands of coal seam gas wells.
Nah, I've got no beef with that. He was probably just trying to invent the McDonald's version of seasoning fries. Spicy water! It's like drinking an El Maco!
Turns out that was all just dandy. What made us finally stand up and say we won't take it anymore was...
What? What do you mean it's slightly harder for me to get a Jaeger bomb at 1:30 in the morning? Damn you, Mike Baird! Damn you to hell! Which was pretty much King's Cross before the lockout laws.
The fact that this man has approved the utter rape of our ecosystems and even poisoned our food and water and no one gives a shit, admittedly makes me glad he's punishing us with this curfew like the strict Christian father he is. But, in our defense, at least we're honest about our priorities, which is more than you can say for this domesticated gorilla. I don't want to sound overly dramatic, but these like outlaws
Are this state's version of 9/11. When I couldn't get into Hugo's at 1:30 in the morning, I realized, holy shit, this is no accident my buzz is going down. This is a controlled demolition.
masked by such an obvious lie that it would even make George Washington reconsider his position on the subject.
I cannot tell most lies, however this particular lie is so transparent it's virtually telling the truth, so I suppose I could tell this lie, yes.
Let's start with the statistics about Sydney's nightlife that matters. I just realised my impression of Mike Baird is pretty much that Aussie home loans guy that used to say,
At Aussie, we'll save you.
alcohol-related assaults have decreased by 42.2%. Not only is that statistic completely fabricated, the number of people out has dropped by almost 60%. Just to break even by your own rosy figures, assaults had to go down 57%, and they didn't, meaning that you have statistically increased the chance of being assaulted at night by 15%. If you're going to boast about misleading data to a level that is that absurd, at least make it about something that's actually impressive. You may hate me for the lockout laws, but under my administration, not a single Sasquatch has jumped in front of a car and flashed an unsuspecting family.
I'm a squeegee guy who needs money for a penis pump.
These laws have been about fixing a serious problem. Violence had spiraled out of control. You realise that just before the lockout laws came in, your party was bragging about us being awarded the safest city in the world.
Well, it depends on what world you're using to measure. On planet Earth, sure, but if we're discussing Yoshi's Woolly World, we'd be fucking Detroit.
But didn't we achieve this by shutting down the whole city and killing its nightlife? The number of small bars in Sydney has more than doubled in that same time period. Yeah, because you're comparing the number of small bars with an area that's twice the size of which you're measuring from before the lockout laws. I'm not a maths genius. In fact, at school I was in the class with a kid who, when his name was called out once, his little arsonist friend said,
Oh yeah, Caleb can't come in today, sir. He's in court.
but I'd imagine if you doubled the area of the size you're measuring, the number of businesses would also double. Except they didn't. You cherry-picked small bars, which is like saying that sad bonsai that every hipster has on their rooftop is fine because one of the branches is still green.
Yeah, man, you just let them sit in the sun and they collect the rainwater and shit. I mean, he's a fucking chiller. He's having a roof party his whole life.
You purposefully extracted small bars and wonked the figures because the number of businesses in general has plummeted. Those open late at night went from 750 to 363. Sydney's nightlife from people to businesses has halved. And then the question becomes, most suited to a philosopher in a black skivvy, so over to you, D'Amelio.
Why?
Some have suggested these laws are really about moralising. They are right. These laws are about the moral obligation we have to protect innocent people from drunken violence. This is the man who is currently trying to throw 120,000 disabled people off the disability healthcare service by completely privatizing it. That's tens of thousands of disabled children out on their asses.
Well, I'm going to call you up on that one, mate. I think you should learn to be more tolerant. As not all the disabled children will be thrown out on their asses. Some disabled kids don't have asses.
That guy, the pro doesn't give a fuck if the disabled are homeless guy, is saying that this is to protect the innocent. Please. Especially when the lockout map looks like this. Isn't it rather peculiar that the only area exempt just so happens to be the home of James Packer's brand new casino? And the barnacles on the pier that have their own casino! Deal it again! And you thought your clientele was clammy. A more cynical man might suggest that this map is obviously designed to funnel all the alcoholics in Sydney into those safety cactus walls so that they also become gambling addicts. And surely the New South Wales Liberal Party is well aware of the ironclad link between problem gambling and family violence. And yet you, with your utterly deplorable record on protecting the innocent, have earned the ethical podium to gallop in on your Trojan high horse of faux greater good, shrieking like Mrs. Lovejoy, "Won't somebody please think of the children?" You don't own the moral high ground. And if you protest that you do, with your well-trodden PR answer that does nothing but pettifog the issue with unrelated tragedy, can you please first explain why Star City, the only other casino in town, also conveniently fell just short of the lockout zone when Star City is the most violent venue in Sydney? Explain how you get to guilt us with the death of 2 teenagers for dare questioning your curfew when you're using those deaths as a political tool, a pretext to shut down this country's biggest city. Also, one billionaire can make more billions at the expense and misery of tens of thousands of problem gamblers and their families. And if you think that's slander, then explain the map.
Okay, love a good challenge. It's not that I'm a bad guy, it's that I'm a privileged bubble boy from the northern beaches who thinks James Packer's a great guy because he let me meet Mariah Carey.
I'm expanding my casino. From now on, the CBD's mine, bed.
Okay, it's just occurred to me that this lockout isn't extreme enough. We're gonna have to shut down the southern hemisphere.
Mike Baird, obliviously evil. La 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 la.
Please press the subscribe button now.
Come on.